In this tutorial, we're going to be looking at how the breadboard can be used. In the last tutorial, we have seen how the breadboard is arranged. But in this tutorial, we're going to be looking at how the breadboard can be used. We're just going to be looking at some basic examples. Here I have my breadboard. I have some jumper wires. I have my LEDs. This is red, yellow, and blue. And I have my resistors. They are all 1K ohm, 1000 ohm. And I have an IC here. This is 555 timer. It's a very common IC. You can easily get it in the market. And I have some small jumpers here. We're going to be using them later. So you have seen how the breadboard is arranged. You see that this is the power rails and these are the wiring rails. And you can see that this groove separates the half part of the breadboard to the other half. So let's demonstrate just a very basic example of how the breadboard can be used. Now I want to connect my red LED and I want to power it up. What I'm going to do, I'm going to connect one leg to one of this O and the other leg to the other O. This is my positive side, that is the longest leg. Let me plug it here. From here you can see that one leg is in one hole and the other leg is in another hole. They are not on the same line. They are on different line. So after having that, let me connect my resistor. But before doing that, let me bring in my battery, my 5 volts. As you can see, this is a power rail. So I'm going to connect my power here. I have my positive, which is the red color, and my negative is the black. So this is my positive and this is the negative. So let me remove the negative side first before I power it up. So my resistor is going to come in between the positive leg of the LED and the positive terminal. So my resistor is coming like this. And then I'll use a jumper to connect the negative terminal back to the negative side of the power rail. And if I power this up by completing the circuit, putting back my negative, so I can see that the LED has come up. So this is just the basic way of using the breadboard. I have my power line, my wiring line, and everything is up. So why do I necessarily need the power line and the wiring line? You can see that if you connect voltage in parallel, the same voltage is going to be running in parallel circuit. So as soon as I want to power up another LED, I can still do the same thing here. Let me use the yellow. Let me remove this. I have this here. The same thing I'm going to do for this one also. I'm connecting my resistor in between the positive 5 volts and the positive leg of the LED. And I'll be using this jumper to complete the circuit. So this is what I have. So if I power this up, you can see that yellow and the red LED are both on. So I mentioned initially that the power line, they are separated into two. From here going upward, they are not connected, and from here going downward, they are also connected. So there's a gap between this part and this part. So if I try another thing here now, I put my blue LED here, I connect my resistor between the power line and the positive leg of the LED, and I use a jumper to complete the circuit. So this one comes back to the negative terminal. So if I power this up, you can see that the blue LED does not come up. Why? Because it is, for now, as at now, it is not connected to the power line. they are both separated. This part of the breadboard and this part, they are not connected together. So how can I loop them? So what I can do is to loop them together, and I'm going to use a very small jumper to loop them together. So let me use this small jumper. So I'm now looping them. I'll connect this power line to the other power line. A very small jumper can do this. I've connected the positive to the positive side of this also, and let me connect the negative side also. Let me power off. So if I power this up, you can see that all the three LEDs are now on because I've already looped the power line and the other power line. So this is how you can demonstrate the separation between the two power lines. And that's that on how to use the breadboard. This is just the basics of breadboard. So let me power off and remove all my components. So let me just lastly demonstrate how to connect an IC on a breadboard. So the groove is designed majorly to accommodate IC. So if you have two ICs and you want to power them on the breadboard, you don't connect them like this. No, this is not how IC is supposed to be connected. Neither is it like this. You don't connect IC like this. If you want to connect IC, you have to give them all the legs a separate terminal. So what you can do is to put them in between the groove. So now this side is for the left hand side of the IC, and this side is for the right hand side. And now they all have individual connection. So here you can make your connections on however you want it to be. And that is how to connect an IC. No matter the type of IC you have, it's going to be accommodated on the breadboard. So that is that on how to use IC just on the breadboard, and also how to connect the breadboard at its basic level. Thank you.